Europeans never understood dogs, and now they want to call them their best friend. The same colonial mindset that colonized continents is the exact same colonial mindset that colonized animals, turning dogs from spiritual kin to commodities, genetic experiments, property. Before the European colonial mindset of private property spread across continents, many cultures saw dogs as co equal beings, spiritual guides, protectors, and members of the family, and not in a sick way, not objects to breed, to trade, or control. Archaeological and anthropological evidence shows that indigenous societies saw dogs as travel companions, hunting partners, ceremonial participants, protect of the village, and spiritual intermediaries. Dogs were often buried, like humans, in fetal position, wrapped in hide, laid near the human, or given graves. Indigenous oral traditions alone describe dogs as sentient kin, not subordinates, not property, not their toy, not their tool. They were never bred to fit into purses. They were never bred to be specific shapes, colors, or sizes. Nor were they bred to fit the temperament of a human's ego. In Kemet, Anubis, guardian of the dead, was depicted as a dog or a jackal. Dogs appear in households, in temples, in tombs all across the Nile Valley. In Nubia, dogs served as hunting companions and spiritual protectors. In Mesopotamia, dogs were tied to healing rituals, healing deities, and used in ritual protections against evil. These cultures weren't training the dog to fit their needs, they were recognizing the dog's natural gifts and coexisting with those natural gifts. Europe's relationship to dogs emerges around the same worldview that shaped colonization: dominate nature, extract from nature, shape nature into something profitable. Medieval and early modern Europe transformed dogs through aggressive, violent, selective breeding to serve humans' ego and their desires, including aristocratic hunting rituals, not even hunting for food, but for sport, warfare. They were used for estate guarding, livestock management, and decorative lap dogs as a symbol of wealth. And in some cases, just plain simple genetic novelty for prestige. Dogs were designed with Europeans, not honored. They were bred, not befriended. They were commodified, not spiritualized. Europeans created breeds that could barely breathe, barely walk, barely give birth, barely survive, all for their own greed, ego, and comfort. And that's because the goal was never partnership or friendship. The goal was always control. Europeans' conquest didn't just reshape human history, it reshaped animal societies too, where indigenous people saw dogs as autonomous beings. Europeans enforced ownership laws, leash laws, breeding regulations, pedigree and purity standards, even with dogs. The overall commodification of animals. And the idea that dogs exist for human utility, for human fulfillment, and not as autonomous beings. So when Europeans try to tell you that dogs are family, ask, do they mean family or do they mean property that they're just emotionally attached to? Because historically, Europeans didn't understand dogs as kin. They understood dogs as tools, as resources, then later as accessories. The obsession with breed purity is a reflection of their own obsession with racial purity. It's a mirror of Europe's overall obsession with controlling all things nature meant to be free. Pre-colonial societies nurtured, respected, loved dogs. Europe bred them into suffering, and now they want to claim that they're dog's best friend, that they're the natural dog lover. Well, the receipts say otherwise. Europeans never understood or respected dogs. Cope.